Good morning. Let's see if I can fix this a little bit. There we go. I think that's better. Good morning. Hey, look at us. We're having a love morning. I'm John Halcyon Stin, and it is Sunday. Yes. Good morning, Gerbot. I have already had a wonderful day. I just had a phone call with my cousin Tracy, who is just I love her so much. And I feel like she's just like a dear friend that I never talk to or rarely do. And so it was so fun to catch up. So I am grateful for extended family and shared experiences through family, and really just deep love and respect in relationships that allows you to go deep quickly and just feel wrapped in a snuggie of warm goodness. Good morning, Aaron and Brent. Hello, Susan. Hello, Aaron. Look at me. I did my hair. I started looking in the mirror and it didn't look like me. And that's my rule. If it doesn't look like me, I got to change something. So I bleached it, spent about 2 days blonde, and I just felt like the not real Slim Shady. But now I'm liking this. I think I want it to grow out a little bit longer, but I'm enjoying being back pink again. It feels like me. At least it feels like me today. Gerbot is grateful that he lives close to the snow, but not in the snow. That makes sense. It is sunny here, but it has been raining and it should rain again. Speaking of rain, I'll tell you about First Saturdays in just a second. Good morning, Razorblade. Hello to you in Australia. Good morning, Kiri. Kiri is grateful for a spark of inspiration and the mantra that got me through the fear that came up after. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Yes, you cannot be fearless, but you can be courageous. You can be brave by acknowledging the fear and then acting. So go see Dune 2. Speaking of fear, I love Dune 2. But first I want to talk about First Saturdays, just in case Susan is still here. Susan is the massive-hearted woman who works and organizes and is the director at Third Avenue Charitable Organization, which is where we meet in the courtyard. And this weekend, there was a forecast for rain. And then it looked like it was going to slow down and maybe not be raining during our window. And that has often been the case. We often have rain on the forecast, but First Saturdays is spared. It's almost like God decides, you guys, I don't want to make it any harder for you, so we're going to make it nice. Now, we have had rain a few times in the past. And when that has happened, when it's been a legit rain, what we've done is told the volunteers, look, we're still going to go, but we're not going to give anything away except for care packs that are in plastic bags. And we're going to just so that they know we're going to be there every first Saturday. I think there's something to that consistency and dependability that is important in the trust and the building that understanding that we're going to be there. We're going to be there. We're going to be there. Now, one year we set out in a park and it was a little drizzly, but we put out clothes anyways. And then when not that many people came out, and then we had bags and bags and bags of wet clothes. And we don't have like a warehouse to hang things up in or anything. So we just put the bags back in the clothing back in plastic bags into our cars, into our garages. And then that stuff got mildewy and we had to throw away all those clothes. So the plan yesterday was to just do care packs and maybe food and hold on to the clothes. And then we got there and the pastor of the church there at First Lutheran said, why don't you guys come on inside, use this inside area here. And I think it partially benefited because there had some flood damage. So the floor has all been taken out. So it's not like we could do that much damage, but it was perfect. So first we were just going to bring the clothing inside, and then it started to rain again hard. And so we brought everything inside. It was a total audible, total like pivot, had to do everything differently. And I just stayed in great spirits. I wasn't stressed. I was something about just winging it and doing the best you can with what you got. I kind of like that. Like if I have a year to plan something and make it perfect, that's stressful for me. If they say, "Hey, we got to do this thing in 60 minutes," I'm like, "Okay." Like I'd rather be scrappy and do good enough than expectation for it to be perfect. That stresses me. So we did good enough. It was great, right? Susan can vouch for that. It went really well. I think there was a lot of positive experiences. We still had a lot of volunteers. We had a lot of people show up. Sometimes I thought in the rain, in the years past, we've had minimal clientele come, because if you're under someplace that's dry, to go out into the rain to get stuff sometimes is daunting. But we had a good crowd, good vibes. We had lots of donations. We still have lots of donations. My car has been full of bags of clothes all month. Since last month, I never emptied my car. So we had so many clothes yesterday that I'm like, well, I'll just hold on to the clothes for another month. And then without asking me, Jason directed some of the volunteers to load my car up even more. So now my car is packed with clothes. So if anybody is looking for some gently used clothing, come to Next for Saturdays. Good morning, Pierre. Pierre is grateful for the amazing light today. Now, is that light from the sun or from some of your lasers? Because I would imagine both are amazing. Good morning, Jobin. Good morning, Jason. Kiri has a question. What do you think are some reasons that people struggle to find gratitude or cultivate a regular gratitude practice? I think that is an awesome question. I think that people, they look at their thoughts in that moment and they don't feel grateful. And so they think, I don't want to do a gratitude practice because I can't think of anything. All I can think about is all the stuff I got to do, the to-do list. Or they think, that's stupid. What good does it do to write down a list of puppies and rainbows? And like, that's not going to help me. That's not going to do anything for me. Oh, I just realized something. Whoops. Oh. And so they don't do the practice of it. It's the same way I think it's difficult to start working your body out, because you have a lot of momentum. It's awkward. You don't know exactly how to move, and it feels embarrassing almost to do stuff that doesn't feel comfortable. And I think that our minds are pretty good at making a case for themselves. Like if you are feeling like things suck, there's a part of you, and maybe a huge part of you, that wants to hold on to that belief. There's something comfortable about that conclusion that things suck, you suck, life is unfair, whatever it is. There's this idea, well, just decide to be happy. Just decide to be grateful. And I think that those are like, decide to be grateful is a lot more doable than decide to be happy, but deciding to be grateful will help you get to happy. Because in deciding to be grateful, I take that back. It's not deciding to be grateful. It's deciding to find things that you are grateful for. Because there's a tendency to think, well, things do suck. Don't look at the world and tell me that everything's awesome. But that's not what gratitude practice is. It isn't concluding that everything's awesome. It's saying, oh my gosh, we live in a world that's filled with a lot that is too much. there's pain and suffering and cruelty and injustice and pain in our bodies and thoughts that just won't let us rest. And there's the feeling of the warm sun on our face and the kitty purring on our chest and the song that makes us tear up in the most beautiful way and that ice cream that just makes your mouth feel like it's dancing. And so I think the resistance to gratitude is thinking that it's an either or binary choice, that it is irresponsible to focus on what's good when there's so much bad, and that somehow you will be bypassing. But I think the goal of humaning is to acknowledge that you live in a world where both exist. And so you want to learn to have more control over where your thoughts go. So, okay, I now have, I have a massive inventory of what sucks. Everything's telling me all the time what sucks. So I need to build an inventory of what's good so that I don't start slipping into an overwhelming narrative of why life is shitty. Instead, going, life is amazing within this world that is shitty. I know that lately I've had a few times when I did not want to come to gratitude practice. And I kind of had to say to myself, are you choosing to not be grateful right now? And I'm like, yes, I'm choosing to not be grateful right now. I'm comfortable in this place of frustration. Jobin says, gratefulness can also be a difficult awareness to develop. Yes, like learning a new language. Yes, or like developing a muscle. If I like to say often that, but that's why but I think that if you force yourself to practice, and if you listen to like other people doing it, you will often hear something that goes, oh, I have that too. Oh, I do have running water. I can drink from my faucets. I have clean water available to me. I do have a heart that is pumping all night long. It pumped. Okay. I do have people in my phone that would pick up if I called them. I do have a pet that delights me when it's not peeing on the ground. I do. And you start to go, okay, there are things in my world that are good. I think it's the beginning that practice and getting over the hump of this is stupid. Duh, I know those things exist. This isn't helping anything. Like it actually is because of the muscle. Because in addition to those things like your roof and your bed, as the muscle gets developed, you start to notice more and more things. And you start to notice things in your partner and you start to note them and say them. And then that makes their awareness grow. And suddenly the world that you are living in doesn't change, but the details that you notice change. And then your narrative changes. And even though the conditions might not have gotten any better, you're enjoying the ride a lot more. Gratitude. Aaron says, I love the term humaning. I've been using that a lot in the last year, especially in reference to this practice and just acknowledging that everyone's humaning. The person that you think is a villain is humaning. In their story, they're not a villain. They just have circumstances and pressures and traumas that make their choices make sense to them. But they're still humaning. They're still trying to minimize their pain, protect the people they love, do what they think is the right thing to do for the future, sacrifice the things they think are not as important. Sometimes they are acting, reacting based on traumas without even really any control over it. But that's humaning too. And so when we can start to witness everyone as fellow individuals humaning as best they can, we can forgive them. Doesn't mean we forget, doesn't mean we don't put things in place to protect ourselves from them, but we can let go of some of the anger and like deep judgment, and just have a little compassion for what must have happened to them that they think that this is the best path, the best choices. Wow. And we can forgive ourselves, because we are all making choices sometimes that are not the best for us or for the people around us or for the planet, but that's us doing our humaning. And then we learn a little bit better and learn a little bit more, and then we do a little bit better. I think that's Maya Angelou. When you know better, you do better. Good morning, Steve. Curie says, love this. Thanks so much for riffing on it with us. I am putting together a workshop and course all about gratitude. Yeah, it's going to be my first offering as a coach, and it feels so right. After all this work we've done the last 4 years. You know, that's funny that you say that, Curie, because I was thinking yesterday that I want to reach out to Curie and ask if you'd be up for leading gratitude circles sometimes. I know that you, because your work, that's not a position where you could be leading, but sometimes you're free and able to. And I think that you would bring an awesome energy to lead the circle sometimes, if that has any calling to you. Jobin says, it reminds me of looking for the glimmers that someone mentioned the other day. Yes, glimmers, the opposite of traumas, the things that light us up and make us see the beauty and the connection and feel the love. Gerbot says, attitude is 80% of what makes up gratitude. Yes. I saw some like reel or TikTok or something, and this guy is young guy interviews old wealthy people, and he had the older guy was explaining what abundance is. And he said, abundance is wanting what you have. And that's an attitude. If you wish that you had more, if you think your kitchen sucks because it has outdated cabinets, you are more poor than the person with the same cabinets who is so stoked that he's got a place to put his dishes. Simple. If anyone else wants to share gratitude, please type it in. Abigail says, I'm grateful for connection and love after a rough week. Sending you a big old pink love blast. Hello, Hope. Thank you, Jobin. Oh, you noted? Is it noticeable? Can you tell that I added color to my hair? It's subtle. Chris is grateful for the fond memories of my mother. I'll be visiting her grave on her birthday. Beautiful, Chris. Speaking of grave visiting, like most of my grandpa's ashes were placed on top of Pikes Peak, but I have some of his ashes, and I realized that I have his ashes in a jar. And maybe what I'd like to do is find some like really cool, like urn type things, but I don't have his whole body. And I was thinking over time, I desire to have the ashes of more people in my life, if they pass before me, a little bit of their ashes. And so maybe I need to think of some system of micro urns, because I do enjoy having grandpa's ashes here. And I would like to have in the future, my parents' ashes, some of them, and distribute others to special places. Did that get too dark? Yay, Kiri. Gerbata Green. Abundance is wanting what you have. Totally. In my TED Talk or TEDx, I say the quickest way to get rich is to appreciate what you got. Fastest way to be poor is to wish you had something else. Yay for confirmation and divine signs, Kiri. Kiri is grateful for our German genie, Luis, who granted us all wishes and gratitude this morning. So far, both mine and Pierre's have come true. Badass. Lisa says, good morning, love the hair, love you. Oops, no, don't do that. No, yeah. Any more gratitudes before we pop into this day and spread goodness? I have a Pink Heart meeting, although I have not committed to going to Burning Man this year. And then I think I'm going to try to go to, there's a symphony in the park this afternoon that I am going to try to go to. And Lisa comes home tomorrow. So I will look forward to that. Tracy says, biodegradable micro urns are available. And he's grateful for a warm bed to sleep in and running water. See, that's a cool idea. I don't mean like something to put in the earth though. I mean like I think it's This Is Us, and they have the father's urn. It's this badass metal urn, and I'm like, I wonder if I could get a small metal urn like that, or maybe something cool glass thing. I don't know. Ah, cool. Janet shared a cool link. I will check that out afterwards. Beautiful. Well, I am feeling super grateful, super appreciative of this opportunity to spend the morning with you. I have a few things in motion. You know what? Can I tell you one more thing? Okay. So I had a session with my brother yesterday. I just want to brainstorm some stuff because I've been thinking about like, what do I want to be doing next? And if you've listened to Hard on the 80s, you know that my brother and I have, I think, a pretty good verbal dynamic with each other, and funny. It's humorous. And so we're playing around with this idea of a podcast or a show that is about curiosity, about growth ideas and people and events, but done so with a little bit of silliness. So it's sincere curiosity, but not serious. So looking at spiritual teachers or like books, and having either sharing our own lessons or bringing guests on that will tell us about the gene keys, for example, or the Enneagram, or about Bashar, and things that if you're a total skeptic, you'd be like, what? But I think there's interesting things to learn in each of these avenues of discovery. So we will be talking about it not in a, this is holy, never question the gene keys, but in like, okay, so what's this about? And trying to allow ourselves to have some fun with it in a playful way. That was a huge part of my spiritual growth, was having a container to explore ideas that wasn't serious, that was playful and funny, and that through the laughter, aspects of my resistance was able to open up. So that's what I'm playing with my brother. And I think that it's going to be I'm going to try to plan for a big project, not just kind of, I'll see how it goes and we'll start and see what happens, but instead go, okay, what would it take to do this in a way that would have the potential to be a business in the future, and an excuse to be doing a project with my brother is on my list of dream things. Love you too, Kiri. Jobin says, I don't know what any of those things are. Awesome. And then we would also do things that you probably had heard of, like Bob Marley, Mr. Rogers, Eckhart Tolle, the Four Agreements. I have a building up a big list of stuff. Thank you, Tracy. I'm glad to hear that feedback. Did I already say this out loud? Chris, Hi, Chris. Chris says, I'm grateful, sincere abundance. Apples with holes in them without worms. Love it. If it's got wormholes, that means somebody thought it was good. Cool. Well, I will keep you posted on the progress of the idea. Maybe solicit topic ideas, or if you have suggestions of podcasts that maybe not the subject matter is similar, but the format we could learn from a format that you like in a podcast. I'd be curious what people think is great. Not the content so much, but the format, the way they how they do it, with an intro skit and then an ending 5 questions and things like that. All right. Well, this has been a treat. Oh, Joven says, Mr. Rogers and Bob Marley, won't you be my one love? I think that's my dream duo, Mr. Rogers and Bob Marley. So wherever you are, let's give ourselves a big squeeze. Feeling gratitude for our bodies, feeling gratitude for this moment of connection beyond the physical. Grateful for these digital tools that let us to feel the presence of one another, to share our gratitude, to practice, build the muscles of gratitude, to feel appreciation for the moments in this day, for the recognition of our connectedness, for our shared humaning. As we take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and you, beautiful person, thanks for being here for our gratitude gathering and love morning. Love you guys. Thank you. Enjoy Sunday.